the vaccine, just eradicated measles. That's totally false, and by the CDC's own standards is false, by their own paperwork, but yet they get away with it consistently.
Yeah, well said. And let me direct the viewers' attention to this. You posted an article on Infowars.com. The HPV Vaccine Victims Advocacy Group sends an open letter to HHS Secretary Sebelius, and that letter goes on to describe the adverse events and how many children are harmed by it. But all of these so-called authorities in government, they ignore the people, they ignore the damage. They tell you basically that you're insane for even trying to connect the actual causes of the damage that you very clearly see right in front of your own eyes in your own home. And yet, in reality, it's these officials who are truly insane. I mean, diabolical, as you say.
Oh yeah, this whole Gardasil issue is incredibly frightening to me, and I think it's a step up. They're ramping up the population control. I honestly believe that kids that are getting the Gardasil vaccine now boys as well, but let's talk about the young ladies out there and the little girls that are getting this shot. I believe we're going to see a massive on a massive scale, we're going to see infertility. I honestly believe that. And when we look at the fact that the same thing that just recently happened with the rotavirus vaccine, finding disease DNA in the vaccine, we're seeing it now in the Gardasil vaccine and the Cervarix vaccine. And before we sent the letter to Margaret Hamburg, the director of the FDA, telling her that out of 13 samples that were tested, all 13 came back with this DNA in it,
right.
The HPV DNA. No mention of it. Now, after this letter, all of a sudden, Margaret Hamburg and the FDA comes out with, oh, yeah, we always knew it was in there. It's no problem. Well, now we've got doctors like Dr. Hannon Polanski, that's saying, wait a minute. I've got the proof. This foreign DNA, this HPV DNA, is going to cause disease. But yet the doctors are saying, the CDC and the FDA are all saying, it's no big deal. We knew it was in there. We just didn't tell anybody.
Well,
it's criminal what's going on.
It's absolutely criminal. I mean, you look at what really goes into these vaccines. We are talking about the ground-up viral fragments from pus-filled wounds of diseased, dying animals from across all kinds of different species, added to a mixture of aluminum, which is a brain poison, mercury, which is a brain poison, polysorbate 80, formaldehyde, which is a neurological poison. And then they say, what, we can inject this into children and have no adverse effects? It flies in the face of not just science, but of just total common sense, natural law. It's truly unbelievable. Do you have a comment on that? Go ahead.
Well, yeah, one of the things is don't forget also that polysorbate 80 is also a carcinogen and causes infertility. Something to think about there.
That's exactly right. Well, that's a whole nother agenda to this. It's not just culling the current population, but making sure that people can't have babies. But first, let me ask you this, Kurt. On your website, viralsepidemic.com, what can people find there? We want to put that up on the screen. Yeah, there we go. What's offered there, Kurt?
Well, I've got original articles that I write, some of them also written for Alex Jones, Infowar.com. But I've also got a lot of other articles on there. I'm going to be having a YouTube channel that goes along with it. I do have a YouTube channel now, CLSR4444, that has a lot of those videos on it, a lot of presentations that I've given. But the one article that I really wish everybody would look at is one that I just wrote called Our Little AIDS Patients. And it's talking about our kids, the autistic kids, what people call autistic, I call vaccine injured, and how their immune systems are destroyed. They're sick because of their immune systems. It's an immunological disorder. It's not a psychiatric disorder.
Right.
And these vaccines are what's causing this ailment. And it really is, when you look at it, 10 years ago, we never heard of primary immunodeficiency. It's simply kids that the vaccines have completely screwed up their immune systems without actually getting the whole the autism traits. But they had to come up with a name for it.
They love to play.
Destroyed them.
The government plays these games with these names and labels. It's just like the TSA strip searches your grandma and says, we don't call it strip searching. well, you know, the vaccines cause autism in your child, but they don't call it a vaccine injury. They call it a, you know, a mysterious whatever. I mean, these 12 girls or so in Brooklyn, schoolgirls, who are suffering these symptoms of obvious chemical toxicity. They have neurological damage. You know, the doctors are saying, well, it's mass hysteria. All these girls are just making it up. I mean, these people are living in fantasy land, you know, like quack land, where they totally ignore all reality.
And yet we're the believers in pseudoscience. It's like another world that they're living in.
It's sick. They're demonic. I mean, they're diabolical, as you say. I think there's an evil element to this. Let's get into that. You mentioned the population control agenda. Do you literally believe now, after experiencing this and doing your own research, that vaccines are being used to reduce global population?
There's no doubt about it. And one of the biggest proponents of vaccines and population control is Bill Gates. All you have to do is hear it from the demon's mouth. He talks about it. It's absolutely amazing that he gets away with what he says. But then, you know, the media is just going to bow down to him anyways.
Well, I thought he was just such a wonderful, caring individual who wants to save the planet through genetic engineering, chemtrails, and vaccine death. I mean, what could be wrong with being a merchant of death from the technology industry? Obviously, I'm being, you know, facetious, but the media does make him look out to be this wonderful angel that's just bringing us life, when in fact he's delivering death.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. The man wants to control the population. He's one of the elitists out there. The problem is we have all of these doctors and politicians that really think they're hearing from the truth from these scientists, and they have no idea that they're victims as well. It's going to be a very small group of people that are actually going to make it through their agenda. And these doctors, these police officers, these health department officials, they think they're on the right side, and they're being harmed just right along with the rest of us.
Well, you know, that's something that Alex talks about all the time. All these people who think they're going along with the global elite, they're going to be the first victims. They don't want you around any more than the people they're targeting. I mean, you're just another cog in the machine who's going to be crushed into total death as soon as your service to the elite is over with. I mean, you're absolutely right about that, Kurt.
Yeah, I mean, make no mistake. This is about population control. The money being made from all of the ailments that are being brought on by these vaccines, the money being made by the pharmaceutical companies to treat these, that's just a great byproduct of you know, the ultimate agenda, which is population control. You know, I used to say all the time, even before my child got damaged, you look at the drug culture, especially with this methamphetamines, and I always used to say, wow, you take all of those poisons, you put them together, and you inject them, or you snort them up your nose. You got to be crazy. And now I look at it like, wow, they took all of these poisons and toxins and put them into this vial and then are injecting them into my child, and I didn't find that crazy.
Yeah, plus maybe 40 different strains of cancer viruses that they also have in the vaccines that has now been openly, publicly admitted to. But again, if you even talk about that, all of a sudden you're a conspiracy theorist because you're quoting scientific history, you know, from the history books. I mean, that's the thing about this that's just incredible. Now this is all coming out. More and more people are watching, but we're still called conspiracy theorists when we're actually quoting the evidence that's out there. It's incredible.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Mike. About a year and a half or 2 years ago, when the whole rotavirus thing came out, the GlaxoSmithKline rotavirus vaccine, they came out and said, oh my gosh, we've got this this PCV1 virus in it. It's a porcine circovirus, and we need to do something about it. Well, then the Merck came out and said, well, hey, come over to this vaccine that we made for rotavirus. And Paul Offit's vaccine, by the way, we're all fine and good. Then they find out that not only did their vaccine have the PCV1, but also had the PCV2. Now, porcine circovirus causes wasting disease and death in young piglets. Now, when you see a lot of our kids with their immune system dysfunctions, what do you see? They're wasting away and dying.
Yeah, but that's what they want, though. I mean,
that's right.
They've become total merchants of death. This has become a eugenics agenda, and it's clear that all of you watching, if you don't want to be part of the depopulation agenda, you need to get informed. Kurt, what is, you're a dad. Can you speak to the dads who are watching this? What is the most important message that you can leave them with as we wrap up this segment? What do they need to remember?
Remember that these doctors don't know any more than you do if you educate yourself. As I was saying, I'm sitting there listening to the FDA meeting on this rotavirus vaccine, and I'm listening to it on the web live, and these doctors are laughing and joking and having a grand old time. And ultimately, they said, we have no idea what this PCV1 virus and PCV2 virus is going to do to our children. But they said, we're going to keep on doing it because we've already done it to millions of kids. Right. That's who you're believing. Stop believing it. Educate yourself. That's all I can say.
Well said, Kurt Linderman, Sr. Thank you for joining us tonight on InfoWars Nightly News.
Absolutely, Mike.
All right, there you go. The interview with Kurt Linderman, Sr. from viralsepidemic.com, a very brave, courageous, and highly motivated father who wants to help you save your children from the same effects that his children have experienced. Sadly, we're going to win this fight against the vaccine industry. Let me tell you, because the word is getting out. Thanks to support of people like you, and thanks to this network, InfoWars, and Alex Jones, and all the crew here who are doing such an amazing job to get this word out, we're going to be victorious against these criminals who are pushing these vaccines and killing our kids. And I'm sick of it. I'm just tired of it. That's why I'm here, and I know that's why you're here. Share this video. Get the word out. Let people know they got to protect their kids from these total criminals who are just trying to mass murder everybody. It's beyond insane. It's truly diabolical. In any case, I want to leave you on a good note. Just want to thank you for watching InfoWars Nightly News tonight. I want to thank Alex for having me on as a guest. I always enjoy filling in. I want to thank the crew for their outstanding job. And please, folks, stay tuned to InfoWars.com every day and listen to the daily radio show at PrisonPlanet.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. Thanks for joining me today. This is Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, signing off for InfoWars Nightly News. Take care.